All right, it is my pleasure today. I can't talk, but it's just intriguing. Wow. To introduce our district governor, Erin Dunn. Erin, like I said earlier, is a member of the Fortuna Sunrise Club, and she is the CEO of the Fortuna Chamber of Commerce, where she's been for 8 years. Erin grew up in Oregon and got her bachelor's from the University of Oregon. Do we have any Ducks in here? Before moving,
I know Brenda was
There's one now.
Before moving to Fortuna, Erin lived for 20 years in Washington, D.C. and New York City, where she was the theatrical press agent. And her first job was at the JFK Performing Arts Center. Erin joined Fortuna Sunrise Club after moving to the North Coast. I got the pleasure of getting to know Erin because we were president in the same year, back in 2007-8. And if anybody wants to hear some good stories about debunking, talk to me later. In 2010, District Governor Kirk Brown named Erin Rotarian, District Rotarian of the Year. Erin has a logo, or a motto for this year, and it's Explore Rotary, and she's really done a lot of that. She's hosted a lot of exchange students. She's served on district committees. She has been involved with Rotoplas in India and has gone to a Rotary project in Uganda. In addition to her Rotary activities, Erin serves on the board of directors for the McLean Foundation and the Redwood Memorial Hospital. A lot of you have met her partner, Ross Raleigh, who is president-elect of the Fortuna Sunrise Club. And she and Ross have 2 little Boston Terriers. With that, I welcome our district governor, Erin Dunn.
Filler for while we get back on the perfect. And we're all switched? Did that just happen seamlessly while the singers were singing? Thank you for that great song this morning. That had a nice ring to it. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, thank you for that. Had a great meeting with your board last night, and always so impressed with everything that you do here. I was so taken with the Shoes That Grow. First heard about it at a Redwood Region Rotary meeting, and immediately, was just totally drawn to it. I have a picture on my phone, in fact, because that night I had to get a sense of what that was. So I've invited Brenda to come and present that at district conference in May. But you all do tremendous things here. You're so involved in the district. You have past district governor Terry Clark, and then you have some other officers here that are actively working in the district. So Dick is actually probably the hardest working person in the district right now. He keeps our website updated. So anything that you have news that you want to get on there, it's all funneled now through Dick, and we really appreciate that. Scott and Barbara are working on the SWAT program for the district, and we were just talking last night about integrating that into the Lake County redevelopment when that happens in Middletown, and what a great asset to have to kind of build that up. So that was a great thing, and welcome to our visitors from out of town and our exchange students and Rotaract. It's a great meeting today. But I just wanted to touch a little bit on, of course, our RI president, Ravi Ravindran, has chosen the theme this year, Be a Gift to the World. And he's really talking about using our time and our talents and our abilities to make a difference in the world and be a gift to the world. And nobody does that better than Arcata Sunrise Rotary. You are out there, you see everywhere, just in the park last night, where I had a chance to see the Rotary Park and the difference that you've made there, and of course all over the community, but you are truly a gift to the world. with what you do. And I just, as a side note, want to let you know, Ravi Ravindran, who Lori has heard, and Howard has heard speak, and Terry has heard, will be in the Bay Area in San Jose on January 3rd, and for a dinner that we're all invited to. And so you should have received a save the date, and then you will receive a registration, but every Rotarian can go, and he really has an inspiring message to say, and if there's any chance that you could go, you should think about it. You can buy a table, 10 to a table, and you maybe go down as a club or split that with somebody else. But just think about that, because we would love to have you be down there. Yeah. See, I don't have a microphone in my hand. So, you know, Rotary is really a gift we give ourselves, and because we don't really join Rotary, we join a Rotary club. That's where we are. And when I saw this button, I was at one of my trainings, and somebody had this button on, and I thought, oh, I love my Rotary club. I would love to make that available to my own district, because I know how many, we all love our Rotary clubs. So I put buttons on the tables. I see a couple people put them on immediately, and I really appreciate that. So yes, we love our Rotary club, and I always get that sense, especially here. But we have a new way to talk about how we love our Rotary club. So for those of you who have been in Rotary for a while, you remember that old elevator speech that we were, that you heard when you were first thinking about joining Rotary. We're 1.2 million Rotarians and 33,000 clubs around the world, and we're working to eradicate polio. And all of those things are true. Every one of those is true, but that's not really how we talk about Rotary these days. They went to Rotarians and said, what is Rotary to you? And they came up with a new way to talk about it. And I just wanted to share that with you as you talk about how much you love your Rotary Club to everybody out there, that we are a group of leaders. We're community and civic and business leaders. And we get together, have great fun, form friendships, and most importantly, we get stuff done. And we get stuff done in our community, and you can see it everywhere that you look here in Arcata. So that's a new way to talk about how much we love our Rotary Club, and so true. And all of those things are true as well. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're talking about Rotary. Hey! I'm not sure how that in there. Ross, I think. Yeah. So. Anyway, where was I? So a way to fall in love with Rotary all over again is to explore Rotary. Because we know that when we join Rotary, we're going to give a lot to our community and to our projects and to our club. But there's a lot that Rotary gives back to us. And you can find that through exploring it. And you all do it very well. There's lots of opportunities with your international projects, with your community projects, but I wanted to share my biggest exploration, and some of you know it because you have had a history of youth exchange involvement in the district. So, I'm not a mom, and I don't have kids, and really kids scare me. That's the bottom line. So, I don't really have the skill set to be around kids. So, but when I joined Rotary, we have the exchange students come, and I made a point at least once a year to say, welcome to Rotary, welcome to Fortuna, we're glad you're here. And that would be about the extent of it. Because, there's that whole language thing, and there's the kid thing, and so it wasn't really my thing. And, as you know, every year the counselors stand up and say, we need host families. And it was at that time that I would start doing my grocery list, because they weren't really talking to me. And so, but when I was president with Lori, I thought it would, it's one of the duties really of president is to make the exchange student feel part of the club, and so I really took that seriously. And we had an exchange student from Thailand, and in the beginning there was that language thing again, and there was that kid thing. But I, would say hello and glad that you're here. But by the time she got to her second host family, her English was getting better, and she was actually staying with friends of mine. And so I had a chance to go over for dinner a few times and slowly get to know her, and pretty soon I was volunteering to take her to school events. And then it came time for the semi-formal, and she had a new dress, and I thought, oh, what would really go with that new dress is a new pair of shoes, and I'm going to take her shoe shopping, because I do know how to do that. So I went over to the house, and I knocked on the door, and she answered the door, and she said, "Hi, Aunt Erin." And for anybody who, isn't a kid person, you know what that does to you. And as if the clouds parted and the sun came shining down, and I thought, maybe this was something I could do. Maybe I could do that. This is really fulfilling and enjoyable. And so I signed up to be a host mom the next fall, and lo and behold, I kept them alive all 3 months. and which led me to just keep, anybody who's been a host knows that once you do it once, you are absolutely hooked. So I've had a chance to host 5 students, not in the last couple years because of the governor duties, but we're signed up for the fall and we're ready to go. So you just never know where that exploration will take you if you're open to all of those experiences, and maybe places that you never even thought. And one of those explorations took me to Uganda to visit an adopt-a-village that's in Uganda that several clubs in our district are sponsoring, and had a chance to see where your foundation dollars go. So your foundation dollars we're paying for this huge water tank that collected water by being below the roof line, and then it collected the water as it came off the roof, and which is a tremendous technology and a great way to provide water for the village. There were also new desks for the school because, believe it or not, there were no desks before that. And textbooks, which, if you go to some of the African villages like Maggie has been, they draw the lessons on the side of the building, and that's where they have their lessons. So they had textbooks. And upgrading the little medical building that they had. But that's what your foundation dollars are doing, and just so excited that you got behind the Afghanistan family planning, because I've heard her speak a few times, and a great way to spend your district fund and your district grant money on that project. So that was a great way to spend that. Another piece of foundation, as you know, is Polio Plus, and the eradication of polio, and how important that is to our Rotarians here. And today is World Polio Day. Well, some places say it's today, some places say it's tomorrow, and I just go with the flow and say it's both days. So today is World Polio Day, and we had some really exciting news with polio in the last couple of months even. So Nigeria was one of the last 3 countries with the polio virus, and in July it was declared that they had gone 1 year without a case of polio. So imagine the entire continent of Africa without a case of polio. And then last month they were declared endemic free. But it doesn't mean that they're polio free. That has to be another couple years because they don't know if somebody in a rural area has gone unreported, or if the virus is kind of hasn't manifested itself yet. But that for all intents and purposes, it is Nigeria really is polio free. So when we talk about being this close, we're really this close. And I love what Bob Rogers has to say when he comes and does his polio talk, when he talks about, Bill Gates and people talking to him about, aren't you tired of that yet? You've been doing that for a while. Of course, we've been doing it since 1985. But he says that it just resonated with me about, we don't let children die because it's fatiguing to save them. And that just really resonates as we continue on in this fight, and we've just got those really 2 countries left, and we can't stop now. Because if polio is anywhere, the risk is everywhere. And that includes here. You know, Humboldt County in District 5130 has the lowest vaccination rate of all of the counties in our club and in our district. And you know, it's really just a plane right away. But we had some really great news last year as well. The numbers came out, and in our zone, which is zone 25, and it goes from, you know, the Bay Area up into Canada, and there's 9 districts, I think. Is it 9, Terry? Is it 9 districts or something like that? Close enough. That we were #1 per capita in polio giving and #2 overall in our zone. And we're up against districts that have Portland and Seattle and these really big, huge cities that we were #2 overall in polio giving. So I just want you to give yourself a hand on that. And we'll be celebrating that at the Foundation Dinner in Ferndale on November 14th in the Enchanted Forest. Rotary has played a really big part of that. Of the planning and the execution of the Foundation Dinner. So I hope that you will come and support that. So I want to tell you a couple things that are happening in the district. And one of them actually includes Rotary. And that is, when I went to the Rotary trip to India last year, it dawned on me that Rotary, which is the organization that fixes cleft lips and palates, was the perfect vehicle to use to provide Rotaractors with an opportunity for an international humanitarian experience. Because you know what we know about Rotaractors is that they have the ability, they have the time, sort of, and they have the enthusiasm, they have the desire, but what they don't have necessarily is the funding. And so we identified 3 positions on a Rotoplas non-medical team. They won't be doing the surgeries, but there are three non-medical of the 9 on a team that anybody could really walk in and do. And so we are interviewing on Sunday for Rotaractors from our entire district for these 3 spots on this Rotoplas mission to Bangladesh in February. And you know, we have 14 applicants, which is pretty great. They're being chosen much like the old group study exchange program. They submitted an application, we're interviewing them. The committee will select that. Of course, the mission director has the final say, but he'll be there on the interviews as well. And it's kind of exciting because we're using this funding model that's a collaboration that we're all kind of having to use these days. One is we're using some district funds. We are using some club funds. And so I've talked to Howard about donating to that piece. And then we're using a corporate entity to round out that funding. So that's because it costs $100,000 these days to go on a Rotoplas mission. But we're just so excited to be able to provide that opportunity for these young people who will be emerging into Rotarians. But no matter what happens, they will always be Rotarians in their hearts after this experience.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Another great way to explore Rotary is to go to an international convention. And this year, it happens to be in Seoul, South Korea. And anybody can go. You don't have to be a governor. You don't have to be a president. You, as a Rotarian, can absolutely go to Seoul, South Korea. And you know, it's a very modern city. They're touting it as a really high-tech convention this year, and it's a wonderful opportunity to go to maybe a country that wasn't on your list, but now you can go, and Rotary's on the other end to show you around. And the great thing about conventions is you just never know if you're going to have lunch over here with somebody from Chile and dinner with someone from Nigeria, and it's just a worldwide experience. Who all here has been to an international convention? Yeah. So if you're interested, see the people who raise their hands, because they're going to let you know what a great experience it is. And it's truly an international convention when it's somewhere like Seoul, South Korea. So I hope you think about that. It's not too late to sign up. Does anybody know what that theme song is? Now, it's from an era where they all kind of sound alike a little bit. But that was that girl. And I kind of used that as a theme this last year, because she was the first single woman working on television. And she, Mary Tyler Moore was the first independent woman working on television, and I identify more with her, but I like that theme song better. So I want to talk to you a little bit about district conference. So you know now that we will have Shoes That Grow as part of one of the presentations. And we're making it a television theme, and talking about the Explore channel. So it's going to be in Napa, May 6th through 8th. We have lots of surprises that I can't tell you about. Please don't ask me, because I am really weak. So don't ask me that. But I will tell you about two speakers that we are going to have. One, on Saturday afternoon, is Marilyn Fitzgerald, who Terry has heard, I know. Anybody else heard? She wrote a book called If I Had a Water Buffalo. And sometimes she talks at Pets, but sometimes she hasn't been there in a couple years, and I don't think she's here this coming year. And I love her story because she went as a group study exchange leader to the Philippines, and when she was there, saw incredible poverty, and thought, I'm going to come back with Rotary, and we are going to do an amazing, impactful project in one of the rural villages. And so when she went to go do her due diligence, she was telling them about, we're going to come in, we're going to build this school, we're going to have the latest technology for you. And the guy said, that's really nice, but what we really need is a water buffalo. That's what we really need. And she said, no, you don't understand. We are going to come in, and we are going to do this wonderful thing for you. And she said, and they said, what we really need, what would impact us, is a water buffalo. And her talk is really about her journey with that, and coming to terms with what she thought people needed versus what was really needed on the ground. And it really spoke to me, because when I was president, I had one of those projects where I just knew that this community dinner once a month, on the first Tuesday, was going to be just the thing. And after about 3, we stopped doing it, because it wasn't what was needed. So I totally related to that. And secondly, it's keeping with the television theme. We have a woman named Stephanie Drakovich, her and her husband have a television production company called 44 Blue Productions. And they produce shows for different networks, reality shows. So they have Wahlburgers, which is about Donnie Wahlberg and his family restaurant in Boston. You guys know that one? Or Donnie Loves Jenny, about Jenny McCarthy and Donnie Wahlberg. They also have, on Animal Planet, Pit Bulls and Parolees. Have you heard of that one? And for on A&E, they have Night Watch, which is about the evening time EMT workers. They have other shows as well. But, vocation is being back in the spotlight in Rotary, where it belongs. And so part of her talk is about vocation and her career in television. And at one time she was in creative development at Disney Buena Vista. And I love also what you guys are doing with vocation. And Jessica's doing a tremendous job with some of the programs here. And in fact, Jessica, I hope, will come and speak about that at district conference as well, because you have 2 programs that are really incredible. So anyway, that's part 1 of her talk. Part 2 of her talk is about the importance of mentoring. And I know you all know how important that is. And the time you spend with kids and the time you spend with young professionals in your business and mentoring them, how important that is. And it's really a big part of Rotary. And I happen to know that she was, and that she is, an incredible mentor, because she was my mentor in 1980. And I have never forgotten her, never. And the summer before my senior year, I was interning at a TV station in Portland for a live 1-hour television talk show that followed Good Morning America. It was called AM Northwest. Any Portlanders in here. And so it was just this incredible opportunity, and I know that by having that experience, it helped me get my first job at the Kennedy Center in the press office. And she was, you knew the minute you walked into the room with her that here was somebody really special, creative and talented, but kind and funny, and you knew she was really a special person. She was, sometimes I say she was 2 years old. She was only 2 years older than me at the time. And then somebody corrects me and says she still is. She still is 2 years older than you. So she's only she's not, not that old. And so, but she's really incredible. And it really was important to me to have that special connection. She's not a Rotarian, but she made an impact on my life, and I think that will help show that what you do makes impacts on people, and you never know, in 35 years, somebody may call you and want you to be on a conference, speak at a conference. So I'm just thrilled about that. Napa, May 6th through 8th, and there's flyers on the table for the hotel, so I'm hoping that you can come there. Okay, does it know what that song is? Seriously? With that singing that you did this morning, and you don't know that song, Star Search. You guys even know that song? You don't know that show with Edwin Band? I'm going to have to change that song. Everybody looks But this was back in the 80s, 70s. Okay, well, moving forward. It was a great pleasure this morning to present to, is she here?
She's here.
Okay, good. I didn't see her when I did the scan. So I asked Howard to select somebody from the club who was the shining star, a shining star in the club. And I make it difficult because I say there's no criteria. And so any of you who have had to make that selection know how hard that is and how special it is and personal those kinds of selections are. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this person. And this was made in Fortuna, and it's metal, so it can go indoors or outdoors. It can go like in the garden, or it can go on a shelf, or whatever it is, shining star. So I'll probably have to put my glasses on here. This person recently joined the club in March, but has stepped up immediately to take on co-leadership of one of your most important committees, and I'm not going to say what it is. The committee was in need of new leadership, and they stepped up to meet that challenge. It's a very demanding position to arrange and manage the processes required for this program. However, this person is highly organized, a psychologist for the Morris School in McKinleyville, mother of 4 children, one of whom has been a Rotary exchange student, and with a Rotarian husband. So, let's see, so obviously that's a youth exchange committee. You have a very active exchange student program with inbound and outbound exchange students each year, and Claire has done a great job organizing and scheduling the activities and responsibilities of the committee, and to keep it going strong, because really you have one of the strongest in the district, and you're such a great example to everyone. So Claire, I want to
that much right now because it's such a great team. So anyway, thank you very much for being a part of this club, and I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Okay, I'm about to wrap up, and just want to say thank you so much for your hospitality. And I love meeting with your board, and what a great way to start the morning. It doesn't really start much better than that. And you're not going to know this one either then. Seriously, Florence well. So anyways, thank you so much.
Appreciation for being here. Such an honor. We make the donation to the wheelchair.
Woo! Yay!
Individuals who wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.